After pretending to be homeless to test my family, my sister posted a photo of a homeless man saying, "Ren's future, Lowell," while everyone laughed. When they found out I'd won $5 million, they showed up screaming at my door demanding their share. But they had no idea what I'd already learned about protecting lottery winnings from toxic family members. My name is Ren, and I'd been my family's personal ATM for 12 years before that lottery ticket changed everything. The night I scratched off those silver numbers in my cramped apartment kitchen, staring at $5 million in winnings, my first thought wasn't celebration. It was strategic. After over a decade of funding everyone else's dreams while living paycheck to paycheck as a nurse, I finally had the resources to answer the question that had been eating at me. Did my family actually love me, or just what I could provide? The pattern had been set since I was 15. Every paycheck split in half before I even saw it. Half for my bare survival, half distributed among family members who'd grown comfortable treating me like their personal, charitable foundation. Brianna's college tuition, Dad's dental work, Mom's car payments, Uncle Gary's electric bills when he lost his job, Aunt Lisa's insulin costs. The requests never stopped, and neither did their expectations. But I'd learned something important working in healthcare for 8 years. When you're managing critical situations, you don't react emotionally. You assess, plan, and execute strategically. And I'd developed something my family didn't know about: professional competence in financial crisis management. Between nursing school debt strategies, investment planning for retirement, and watching countless families navigate medical bankruptcies, I understood money in ways they never suspected. The gas station clerk who sold me those tickets had seen something in my exhausted face that Tuesday evening. "You should buy some tickets, honey. I got a feeling someone's luck is about to change around here." For 2 weeks, those scratch-offs sat forgotten in my purse while I worked double shifts and sent Brianna another $800 for her iPhone upgrade. When I finally found them during a late-night apartment cleaning session, the first 4 yielded nothing. The 5th changed my life forever. But instead of immediately calling family to share the news, something made me pause. A cold analytical clarity that I'd learned from years of nursing emergencies. Assess before you act. That's when I developed what I privately called the family test. Instead of revealing my windfall, I'd create a strategic scenario to discover who these people really were when I needed them instead of the other way around. The plan was elegantly simple. Pretend I'd lost my job and was facing homelessness. See who stepped up to help the person who'd been helping everyone else for over a decade. I spent a week researching lottery winner protection strategies before implementing my test. The statistics were sobering. Most lottery winners go bankrupt within 5 years, primarily because they can't establish boundaries with family and friends who view them as unlimited funding sources. I wasn't going to become that statistic. That Saturday morning, I opened our family group chat and typed the message that would reveal everything. "Hey everyone, I have some bad news. I got fired from the clinic yesterday. They said they were cutting staff, and I was one of the last hired, so first to go. I don't have enough saved up to cover next month's rent, and I'm going to get evicted in 2 weeks if I can't come up with the money." The response was immediate and devastating. Mom's first concern wasn't my welfare, but whether this affected her mortgage payment assistance. "Does this mean you can't help us with the mortgage payment this month?" Brianna immediately worried about her tuition funding. "Well, who's going to pay for my tuition now? The semester bill is due next week." When I clarified that I actually needed help, that I might be living in my car within 2 weeks, Brianna revealed her true nature. "Serves you right. If you were too stupid to save money for emergencies, that's your problem. You should have been more responsible instead of just working all the time like an idiot." Watching family members react to her cruel message with thumbs-up emojis and heart reactions was like watching my entire worldview collapse in real time. Here I was, telling them I faced homelessness, and they were actually endorsing the idea that I deserved it. Uncle Gary dismissed my years of support as a few times. Aunt Lisa claimed they'd never asked for my help, despite literally crying on my shoulder while begging for insulin money. Cousin Claire accused me of making bad financial decisions, as if keeping Dad's teeth and funding Brianna's education were personal failures. But Brianna's final message was the kill shot. She posted a photo of a homeless man sleeping under a bridge with the caption, "Ren's future, LOL." The laughing emojis and supportive reactions from my parents, aunts, uncles, and cousins told me everything I needed to know about my actual value to them. Only my cousin Grace responded differently. 30 minutes after I'd left the chat in tears, she called me. "Ren, I saw what happened in the chat. That was disgusting." Without hesitation, she offered me her couch, groceries, and whatever financial help she could manage on her waitress salary. "Family should help family," she said, and unlike everyone else, she actually meant it. Grace had just passed the test that revealed who deserved to know about my lottery win. Everyone else had failed spectacularly. The next phase required professional consultation. I'd learned from healthcare financial planning that sudden wealth requires expert management, not emotional decision-making. I found Henry Clark, a financial advisor specializing in lottery winner asset protection, and scheduled an immediate consultation. Henry's first question was strategic, not congratulatory. "Who knows about your win?" When I explained my family test results, he leaned back with approval. "Smart approach. Most lottery winners go broke because they can't establish boundaries. You're already ahead of the game by identifying who actually cares about you versus who sees you as a funding source." He outlined the protection strategy that would become my blueprint. "After taxes, you'll have approximately $2.5 million to work with. First rule: maintain your current lifestyle until you've established proper financial structures. Keep working. Keep your apartment. Don't make dramatic changes. The money will still be there in 6 months when you've had time to plan properly." Henry helped me establish investment accounts, explain tax implications, and provided the crucial advice that would protect me from my family's inevitable money grab. Document everything. Their treatment of you during your fake crisis, their refusal to help, their cruel responses. If they later claim family entitlement to your winnings, you'll have evidence of how they treated you when you supposedly had nothing. I'd already screenshot every cruel message, every laughing emoji, every dismissive response to my plea for help. This documentation would become crucial evidence of their true character. While I worked with Henry on financial protection strategies, I moved in with Grace to maintain the homeless charade and observe her character under pressure. Her tiny one-bedroom apartment barely accommodated both of us, but she insisted on sharing everything. Groceries she couldn't afford, gas money for my job search, even her tips from the diner when she thought I needed encouragement. Watching Grace sacrifice for someone she believed was struggling while my parents posted in the family chat about me being a family screw-up who couldn't handle adult responsibilities was a daily reminder that I'd made the correct assessment. Grace demonstrated real family loyalty while my blood relatives celebrated my supposed failure. After 2 weeks of observing Grace's genuine kindness, I began implementing the next phase: strategic financial positioning. I told Grace I'd found employment and an apartment, moved back to my place, and started making controlled lifestyle improvements. Nothing flashy, just quality of life upgrades that someone with stable employment might afford. Better work clothes, a functional phone, car repairs that eliminated the concerning noise when turning left. Henry guided me through conservative investment strategies that would generate long-term wealth while keeping my principles secure. The goal is financial independence, not flashy spending. Invest wisely now and you'll never worry about money again. 3 months later, I was ready for the next strategic move: homeownership. The house I found was perfect for my purposes. A 3-bedroom Craftsman in a quiet neighborhood, priced at $380,000. Henry approved the purchase as reasonable for my situation. Stay under $400,000 and you'll be comfortable without being house poor. When the seller accepted my cash offer, I knew it was time to reveal the truth to Grace and reward her loyalty. Inviting Grace to see my new place, I watched her amazement as she toured the open living room with hardwood floors and large windows. "Ren, this is beautiful. How did you afford to rent something this nice?" "I didn't rent it, Grace. I bought it." Her confusion was understandable. "You bought it? With what money? You were unemployed 2 weeks ago." Taking a deep breath, I revealed everything. "That's what I need to tell you. I wasn't really unemployed and I didn't really need a place to stay. I won the lottery, Grace. $5 million. After explaining my family test and the devastating results, I handed her the check I'd already prepared, $300,000 made out in her name. "This is for you, for being real family. When everyone else showed their true colors, you showed me yours." Grace's reaction confirmed every positive assessment I'd made about her character. Through tears, she initially tried to refuse the money, claiming it was too much. But when I explained how she'd shared everything she had with someone she thought was struggling, how she'd treated me like family when my actual family had treated me like garbage, she understood that this wasn't charity. It was recognition of genuine loyalty and love. For 2 months, Grace and I enjoyed the peace of authentic family relationship. She used her money to buy her own apartment and enroll in graphic design school. I continued working at the clinic because I wanted to, not because I was financially desperate. We planned trips, made future plans, and I began researching medical school applications. With financial security established, I could finally pursue the career I'd always wanted but never been able to afford. Then Grace made a mistake that would shatter our peaceful bubble. She'd told her mother about her sudden financial windfall, explaining it as a gift from her cousin who'd come into some money. Her mother told Aunt Lisa. Lisa told everyone. Within days, the entire family knew about my lottery win, my house purchase, and Grace's $300,000 gift. The family group chat that had once celebrated my supposed homelessness was now buzzing with indignation about being cheated out of their share of my winnings. That Tuesday evening, as I planned my first real vacation in 4 years, a trip to Hawaii, someone began pounding on my front door like they were attempting a forced entry. Through the peephole, I saw Mom, Dad, and Brianna standing on my porch, their faces contorted with rage. The moment I opened the door, Brianna launched into a screaming tirade. "You lying piece of work. We know about the lottery. We know about this house. How could you do this to us?" When I suggested she calm down, she escalated. "Calm down? You let us think you were homeless while you were sitting on millions of dollars. And then you gave Grace $300,000. That money should have gone to me. I'm your sister." Dad pushed past both of us, his familiar cologne mixed with the sour smell of anger. "We found out everything, Ren, about the money, about Grace, about your little test. We know you've been lying to us for months." Mom's voice carried sharp indignation as she explained their discovery process. Grace told her mom. Her mom told Lisa. Lisa told everyone. The whole family knows now. They're all talking about how you screwed us over. Their immediate assumption wasn't celebration of my good fortune, but accusation of betrayal. Dad began listing their financial obligations like a business presentation. "We've got mortgage payments, Brianna's tuition. You owe us." This was the moment I'd been strategically preparing for since the night I'd won. "I don't owe you anything," I replied, my voice steady with professional confidence. "But you want to know what I do have?" I pulled out my phone and scrolled to the screenshots I'd saved as evidence. The documentation Henry had advised me to collect was about to serve its purpose. "Remember this?" I showed Brianna her message calling me a stupid, irresponsible idiot who deserved homelessness. "And this?" I displayed the photo she'd posted of the homeless man under the bridge with a caption about my future, complete with all the laughing emoji reactions from family members. Brianna's face went pale as she realized her cruelty had been permanently documented. "I didn't mean that. I was just upset." Turning to my parents, I showed them their own heartless responses. Remember when you said you were disappointed in me and wouldn't let me stay in your house because I needed to solve my own problems? Dad attempted damage control. We thought you were really in trouble. We were trying to teach you responsibility. You showed me exactly who you are when you thought I had nothing to offer you. Brianna literally laughed at the idea of me being homeless, and you both endorsed her cruelty. Mom began her familiar manipulative crying routine, the same tearful performance she'd used to guilt me into compliance since childhood. Ren, we're family. We made mistakes, but we love you. We're struggling with the mortgage, and Brianna's education costs so much money. Can't you help us? Looking at all three of them standing there with outstretched hands, expecting me to rescue them just like I always had, I felt only cold satisfaction. This time was different. This time I had both the financial resources and the documented evidence to refuse them permanently. Using Brianna's exact words from the family chat, I delivered my verdict. Serves you right. If you were too stupid to save money for emergencies, that's your problem. Brianna's mouth fell open in shock. You can't be serious. Dead serious. You want to talk about family? Grace is my family. She's the one who offered me her couch when I needed help. She's the one who bought me groceries when she thought I was broke. You? You laughed at me. Stepping back toward my door, I issued my final statement. Get off my property. I never want to see any of you again. You can't do this, Brianna screamed, her face red with fury. We'll sue you. That money belongs to the family. Good luck with that, I said, and slammed the door in their faces. They continued pounding and yelling for another 10 minutes before finally leaving. Then my phone exploded with calls and texts from the entire extended family, messages alternating between desperate begging and legal threats. Ren, please, we're desperate. You're being selfish. We'll take you to court. Family sticks together. I blocked every number and deleted the messages without reading most of them. Henry had already assured me they had no legal claim to lottery winnings, so their threats were empty bluster from people who'd revealed their true nature when they thought I was vulnerable. The harassment continued for weeks. They showed up at my workplace, called from different numbers, even recruited distant relatives to contact me on social media. All of them wanting money, all of them acting like I was the villain for not sharing wealth with people who'd celebrated my supposed homelessness. Through Grace, I eventually heard the consequences of their financial dependence on my previous generosity. My parents had to downsize their house significantly when they couldn't afford the mortgage without my assistance. Brianna was working at a coffee shop to fund her own college tuition, experiencing for the first time the financial stress I'd lived with for years while supporting her lifestyle. Uncle Gary and Aunt Lisa were managing their own money problems without their reliable family ATM to call upon. The poetic justice was deeply satisfying, but I was focused on building my future. Grace and I took that Hawaii vacation, spending a week experiencing luxury I'd never been able to afford. Massages, fine dining, tourist activities I'd only dreamed about during years of financial sacrifice for others. When we returned, I made the decision that represented my complete transformation from family ATM to independent professional. I enrolled in pre-medical school classes. With financial security established, I could pursue the career I'd always wanted without worrying about student loans or working full-time during studies. I still work part-time at the clinic, but the dynamic has completely changed. I'm there because I enjoy helping people, not because I'm desperately dependent on every paycheck. My coworkers have noticed the change in my demeanor. Happier, less stressed, more present in my work. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if my family had passed the test. If they'd rallied around me during my fake crisis instead of kicking me while I was down, would I have shared the lottery winnings with them? Probably. Would I have continued enabling their financial irresponsibility for the rest of my life? Definitely. But they failed the test spectacularly. They revealed their true character when they thought I was vulnerable, and I believed them. The lottery didn't just give me money. It gave me the truth about relationships I'd been too emotionally invested to see clearly. Grace proved that real family isn't determined by blood relationships, but by who shows up when you need them. Everyone else proved they were only interested in what I could provide, not who I actually was as a person. Now, as I prepare for medical school applications and plan my future with financial security, I never thought possible. I'm grateful for that lottery ticket in ways my family will never understand. It didn't just change my bank account. It freed me from people who saw me as a resource rather than a person. The $5 million was nice, but the knowledge of who really cared about me was priceless.